can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious!
And now, Don and Ivan, I saw in the street, just saying this, very big production of, I saw Shane Crawford, friend of ours. I saw him in the street the other day, and he's hard in training and rehearsals for Joseph and his Technicolor Dreamcoat. What is it called? What's the show called?
No, that's it. Yep, Joseph.
Don, what's the show called that Shane's in? Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat, and he's in very big rehearsal. And he said that he has asked you and I to come to the opening.
Well, that'd be good. But what about getting him on? Because I had an interesting conversation with him.
So, Don, as always, you just load the gun and get me to fire the bullets. I reached out to Shane and said, would you like to come in today and just have a discussion about a few things that you mentioned? I acted on it. You just say,
no, you're a control freak.
So I got him on. I texted him and he said he'd love to come in, but he's in full dress rehearsal today, now, as we speak.
So is he Joseph?
No, he's Pharaoh.
He's Pharaoh.
He's the Pharaoh. Spelt?
PH.
PH.
Did you say H? You
PH.
fucking dumb cock.
What?
I've just gone on about H and you said PH.
Well, that's what everybody...
But
PH.
everyone's ignorant, Don. They're fucking idiots.
Oh, don't swear. Now, listen, just in the break, I found out that Gwyneth Paltrow candle is 2 years old, so we've come up with nothing new. Jimmy, get us something that's on the cutting edge.
It took 6 months for Jimmy to get that from the
States.
Well,
that's 2 years old.
Well, I didn't say it was new. Gwyneth Paltrow's vagina.
Here we are making a big thing of it.
Gwyneth Paltrow's vagina is probably 40 years old. How old is she? I'm not sure if it would have had an aroma in the early years, but if she says that's what a vagina smells like, I'm taking that on face value.
Anyway, it was.
All right, moving
take
right
it
along.
on face value, Don. I'm going to light that in my flat one day, and people say, "What the fuck is that?" I say,
face value.
I'm going to light that. People walk in, they say, "What is that smell?"
Have you got someone else in here?
Gwyneth's vagina. Gwyneth Paltrow's vagina. Now, Don. So that's a shout out, just a little shout out to Shane, and we're going to go to the opening. Technicolor.
Yeah, I like that.
Right now, Don.
When is the opening, by the way?
I think it's next month.
Oh.
And I tell you what has been, when I mentioned last week about the Phillip Island Grand Prix getting half a page, 8 pages back.
Yeah.
We are currently over in Qatar.
Who are we?
The Australian soccer team, the Socceroos. Right. The World Cup is coming up, and we play France.
When?
I was about to tell you. We play France when? We play France on the 20th.
When you do your delivery, I don't know whether you were taught this at school, but you stop. You get there and you just. It's
I stop because you interrupt.
No, it's not fluent. You're not fluent, and so you come in and think.
We have given nothing to Australia's campaign in the World Cup soccer, and I said we play France, and you went when? We play France on the 21st of November.
Really?
What?
Really?
No, I made that up, Don. No.
Well, why make it up?
Oh, I didn't make it up. We play France on the 21st of November. We're currently over there playing in some...
We,
Australia.
Oh, Australia. I thought we. Geez, you're trying to become inclusive.
You wait till they start waving flags other than the Australian flag over at sporting events. Wait till that happens. Oh man, that's when.
What do you mean?
Go. Well, you
come on.
You read between the lines, Don. No, so Don, we are currently over in Qatar playing in extreme heat.
Qatar. Guitar.
I call it Qatar.
No, guitar. You said.
Qatar.
No, that's something you play the guitar. It's Qatar.
Well, people say Qatar. I say
Qatar.
Qatar. I say Qatar. It's like Caribbean. Monaco. Don, so wouldn't you think we've had page after page of your friend Ross Lyon being appointed coach, you train his daughter, don't you, in horse riding, don't you? You could
Hennessy.
You could have told us that Ross was going to coach St Kilda. You could have broken some news. So they've had 800 pages of Ross Lyon coaching St Kilda and nothing about the Socceroos playing
And the other thing that irritates me...
over in Qatar.
And we've got the Australian Show Jumping Championships at Boneo Park coming up on the 6th, the finals on the 6th of November, and there's no mention of that in the papers anywhere.
There you are, Don.
Straight down Peninsula Link, turn left, just go past Bunnings on Boneo Road.
We're fed blinkered information about what people, about the draft and Ross. Good on Ross Lyon. Do you know who organised all that? I'm saying this. He'll probably won't.
Organised what?
Do you know who's got his fingerprints all over Ross Lyon going to St Kilda and has told St Kilda what they should do and told the president what he should do?
Well done, I know where we're going.
Yeah?
Yes.
Who is
the man that, yes.
Who has got his fingerprints over
The tall bloke from University Blues.
Tall bloke from University Blues.
Yeah.
I don't know him.
The tall bloke from the university.
He played as a ruckman for Uni Blues.
Well, it's too cryptic for me, who?
Yeah.
Keep going.
I don't know.
Is he a Hawthorn player?
I don't know who you're talking about.
Who are you talking about?
I don't think I'm talking about someone who played for University Blues, a tall man. Who is that?
Well, you tell me. I could be wrong. That's all just...
The man who orchestrated the whole thing and has put people in place and asked presidents to move people aside, Grant Thomas. Grant Thomas is running the whole agenda down there.
No, I was going to pick someone else.
So
Who were
was
you
I.
talking about?
I was thinking
So was
Lee
Come
Matthews.
on. Lee Matthews.
Oh, I
He's
was
not a
thinking-
tall university.
That's right.
Who are you talking about, Don?
Well, you do a bit of research. But anyway, listen, getting back to the show
Don,
jumping, you've
Don,
got the
who
Arilla
did you-
restaurant on the Sunday, the
Don
final.
doesn't want to talk
Don,
about it.
Who did you think was masterminding what I just said? Can you mention a name?
Gillum McLaughlin.
Gil McLaughlin has organised
Yes.
that. Gil McLaughlin, whatever his name, he couldn't organise a fucking
No,
chook
hang
raffle.
on. Don't be rude.
No, mate. I tell you
anyway,
what,
listen, something more
Any
imp-
person that would throw us under the bus after that disgraceful intervention about Winmar, I tell you what, mate, the credibility of that man.
No, hang on. He was compassionate for you. He was compassionate.
He was full of shit.
No,
mate.
he rang
was
up
a
and offered
pompous-
condolences and all the rest. And you were going to have a. Have you ever had that coffee? Have you ever had that coffee? You were going to catch up for a coffee.
No,
I'm
going to say no.
No, come on.
No, shut up.
No, hang on.
Don't start
Coffee.
Fair dinkum.
You'll settle all this
Flat
over
white.
that cup of coffee, you
I
two.
tell you what, mate.
No, you got to settle your differences. The world is too short. Life is too short to hold animosity.
All right.
Okay.
Cricket?
No.
we
We're
still
talking
in
about
sport?
show jumping in the Arilla restaurant. You can sit down there and have a meal on the Sunday.
Would they
and
be
they're
serving
fine.
Kate Saves Be-Fit food there?
She should actually.
She
That's not
should.
a stupid idea. She
Seashells-
should have a
seashells on the
stall there.
seashore.
She should have.
She should. She sells
Get the-
seashells on the seashore.
What about Kate Save?
Kate Save, can you say this quickly? I'm not a fig plucker.
No,
I'm
I'm
a
not
fig
gonna
plucker's
say it.
son, but I'll pluck figs till the fig plucker comes. Say that, Don.
No.
I'm not a fig plucker.
No,
I'm
I
a fig
know.
plucker's son,
I
but I'll
know.
pluck figs till the fig plucker comes.
Anyway, Sunday the 6th of November, if you're doing nothing, travel down there. It's a real experience. You can have a beautiful lunch and it's well positioned, the restaurant. It's in between the two show jumping rings. You overlook the show jumping ring. And Kate should have a stall there because they have got trade stands.
Kitchen.
She should have a kitchen.
I'll
Right.
just give you words and you can just confirm them.
You should be working for Kate in promotions. No, seriously.
Do you know what Kate's husband does?
He works for Coles or Woolworths or...
Bullshit, he's a knife sharpener.
No, that's a father.
Oh, is it?
He makes those balls. You know, Kate saves father's balls.
Kate's father is the
He
knife
markets
sharpener.
those balls.
I thought that was
The dim
a-
sims.
Dim Sims.
Dim Sims.
They're
that was
beautiful.
husband.
They are beautiful, those balls.
Anyhow, Don, so Ivan, good. Bonio, fantastic. We'll go down to the show jumping and then we'll go and watch
and have a Kate Save meal.
We've got a pretty full calendar, Don. We're going to see Shane do Technicolor Dreamcoat as the Pharaoh.
Hey, listen, we're becoming...
Spell Pharaoh again for us.
PH.
PH, you cockhead. Now, Ivan.
Yes.
The cricket.
The cricket. Now,
I want to tell you something about the cricket. Right. Go ahead.
Yeah, now, I saw a game of cricket, Pakistan versus India.
Unbelievable.
One of the best games I've ever seen.
I wondered where I was, Ivan. Yep. I turned that on at the last.
Fantastic.
I thought, where the bloody hell is this game played? It was the MCG. It was rocking.
It was fantastic.
I didn't see a Caucasian in the audience.
Absolutely.
Where do they come from?
Isn't that fantastic?
It's unbelievable.
92,500 people.
And in front
how many?
92,500 people.
And Don, in front of the Shane Warne stand, you couldn't make it up. It was fantastic. And
the game was terrific, but I just couldn't. And that received no publicity. Talking about publicity.
It's extraordinary, isn't it?
And people got there.
And you know the
hang
woman.
on, did the people actually come from India and Pakistan to watch that?
I think they do.
They may have.
Really?
I think they do, yep.
Well, I thought it was a poor country, both of them poor countries.
Not when it comes to
they must have an elite.
1.5 billion, you reckon everyone's poor, do
you? The way the picture is painted.
Don, do you know the woman who gave out the trophy? Do you know? Did you?
What trophy?
Didn't she? She gave out the trophy to
Kohli.
Yeah.
No, I turned it off as soon as they won.
Did you know who the woman was?
No.
She's the daughter of Tony Thompson, Shanira Thompson, who married and is married to Wasim Akram. And I was with her the night before at someone's wedding, and I was talking about, she said, the game is on. She didn't even tell me she was giving out the trophy. She is like a goddess over in Pakistan. Shanira, her name is, and she lives...
Wasim Akram their Prime Minister?
No, that's Imran Khan.
Imran Khan. So, hang on. I've got to get all the names.
The left-arm fast bowler from Pakistan, star, huge he was in his day, and he's now.
Is he over here?
I don't think so.
You were stuttering for words there. You were stuttering. Were you trying to do a line?
No, because I asked Shanira, was he over here? And she said he wasn't. I think she said she was. He was over here.
She was over here.
He was coming over because she said, would you like to...
You're a little bit rattled.
She said, would you like to interview him on the podcast? I said, are you serious?
Are you serious?
You cannot be serious.
And she said, well, he's over here for this World Cup. And I said, well... So we may be able to speak to Wasim Akram, we may not. But Shanira, who is a local girl, married him and is a goddess over in Pakistan. She gave out the bloody trophy. And I said, why didn't you tell me at the wedding? Why didn't you tell me you're going to do that?
Whose wedding was it? Whose wedding?
Well, it was just a friend of ours' wedding. The Pattersons.
Who? The Pattersons?
Peter Patterson.
Peter Patterson. Played for Collingwood.
Peter Patterson.
Played for Collingwood, didn't he? Peter Patterson?
Peter Patterson.
That's Peter
anyhow, so that's Shanira. And she gave out the thing and there was 92,000
Fantastic. There was even one person there that had a full drum kit. Did you see that, Don?
No. I told you I watched the last over. I was intent on the last over and then I turned it off. But I couldn't believe the crowd.
So there's two things that didn't get a lot of publicity. That game and Australia Socceroos battling it out and slugging it out over in... That's the best sporting event I've ever been to, was the 2006 World Cup in Munich when Australia played... I think they played Italy or France or...
Something that wouldn't be close to your heart, but it's fairly close to mine, is Hawthorn. Did you see there's a big election coming up? It's become very politicised.
You've just covered your two great topics, Bonio horse jumping, and now you're onto Hawthorn.
That's right.
Go ahead, Don. You can wax lyrical about all those things and fuck all else.
Do you see how politics are now starting? First time ever, politics are playing their game in a sporting arena. And I mean politics. What would you hear? It's nothing. Politics. What would you call it?
What?
Politics, the politics that govern our country. We use politics as a means of, playing a game between two different parties. But anyway, Liberal
What
and Labor. Liberal and
propaganda?
Labor are
What-
playing out their hand in the Hawthorn election. And it's interesting that Andrew Gowers has put himself up for president against the board nominee. And the other interesting thing about Andrew Gowers was they've just gone through a racial thing at Hawthorn with regard to what happened back in the,
What's
the
happened to that charade?
Just hang on, the Alistair Clarkson, Chris Fagan, Andrew Newbold, who was the president, Justin Burt, who was the welfare, and guess who was the director in charge of football back then? Andrew Gowers. Now here he is putting himself up for president, and he was the football director when that fiasco happened, way back in the, mid...
But Don, maybe Andrew Gowers didn't think it was a fiasco because it probably wasn't. It's been manifested and exaggerated to the state where it's
he should be. Why should Clarkson, Fagan, Newbold stand down from the commission? Jason Bird, there's 4 people, and Andrew Gowers was the football director. Surely he should have been across what was going on.
Maybe there was nothing going on, Don, because the anonymous accusers of those of Fagan and Clarkson, the anonymous accusers, who I'm told also want the club to pay for their legal expenses. Those maybe the severity.
The club pay for their expenses.
They've been asked to.
The club has.
The club hasn't been asked. They have asked. The litigants have asked the club to pay for their legal expenses.
You've got to be joking.
And they haven't, and they don't want them their names mentioned. So Don, maybe Andrew Gowers and Clarkson and Fagan didn't think it was a big deal, but it's been suddenly made a big deal by activists trying to crank up this absolute nonsense about them and us, and the veracity of that stuff that is unsubstantiated is a disgrace, and I don't know why anyone gives it the currency
and the deputy
doesn't deserve.
The current Deputy Premier James Molino is also standing for the Hawthorn board. He promised Hawthorn when he was acting Premier $15 million. Where is that $15 million when he was acting Premier, when Daniel Andrews was taking leave? That money hasn't come forward. He's full of shit.
He's a politician.
Well, and he's going to stand. You've never seen him around the club, and he's put up his hand. He says he's got time to do something now. What does he know about running a football club?
So can I...
And I would say this could be maybe the last we see. If this goes ahead the way it is, Hawthorn was a very, very stable organisation. We've had 2 elections in 2 years, and it's interesting that the platform, one director who got in last year, Ian Silk, his platform was to get rid of pokies, as far as Hawthorn to get rid of pokies, and he's taken on the chairmanship of Crown Casino. Isn't that conflicted morally?
Conflict of interest, Don, morally.
Morally conflicted, that you say, and part of your platform, and people vote for you because Hawthorn are going to get rid of the pokies, yet you become chairman of... I tell you what, this Labor Party is corrupt.
This is called hypocrisy, Don, on every level. Now, this is to do with a little sport. The son of Essendon great Dustin Fletcher. Have you caught up with this?
Yeah, there's 2 boys.
Have you caught up with this?
Well, they're kickers in American football, college football.
The son of Essendon great Dustin Fletcher, I'm reading this, is proving to be the apple that doesn't fall far from the tree, with Mason Fletcher setting a new college football record in the US last Saturday. NCAA fans, what's that mean?
That's college football.
National College, right? Fans were left in awe of Fletcher's punt less than 5 yards out from his own end zone. He kicked it 85 yards, probably, not metres.
That's a record.
An 85-yard punt, and they said they could not believe it. And do you realise there are scores of hopeful Aussie footballers, AFL footballers, budding Australian rules footballers over there testing out, and I can't mention I can't mention, even cryptically mention someone who is over there, but you'd be staggered if I told you who is over there and who he is the son of.
Yeah, I understand. He's trying out, but the first one that went across was Colin Ridgway back in the 1950s. Colin Ridgway played for Dallas Cowboys. He was an Australian high jump representative, and I think he was a kicker for the Dallas Cowboys.
But it's not about the length, is it?
It's the hang time. And actually, I actually watched YouTube, and they had a lot of those longest punts on YouTube too. And a lot of boys can hoof the ball, and the Americans can. But it is also, if you can get 80 metres, you've got a lot of hang time.
Darren Bennett went over there from Melbourne.
Yes, also, that's right.
Australia.
Sav
very
Rocker,
well.
Graham, from Geelong, the captain of Geelong.
Yeah, Graham.
Ben Graham was over there, played for
very big kicker.
New
York
Giants or something, New York or something.
And speaking of ex-AFL footballers, Damien Burke, I was speaking to him.
Oh, yeah, good ruckman.
And he spoke, I'm not sure, he said he spoke highly of you, Don.
Why?
Did you have anything to do with him?
Nothing, but I thought he was... Injury curtailed his career.
Yes, injury prone.
Yes. Red hair, that's his problem.
Yeah,
I think
red hair's his problem.
Well, can you tell me somebody that's got red hair that's...
What, Don? This will be good.
Well...
That's not injury prone.
Yes. No, seriously, you give me
drawing a line.
There's something wrong with them, isn't there? They are a little bit off the boil, like chestnut horses. Red-headed people are a bit different, aren't they?
Gingers.
Ginger, they are.
Ginger Mick.
Ginger Megs.
Ginger Megs. Don.
Rin Tin Tin.
He's a dog Alsatian, you idiot.
Don. Damien Burke, who played for Geelong.
Hey, Rennie. Remember that show, Rin Tin Tin?
Yep.
Came on at 5:30.
Just before Hey Hey.
No, it didn't before the news.
Was that immediately before Lassie or...?
No, Lassie was on Channel 2. Rin Tin Tin was on the commercial station.
Okay, Don. I'll take that on advisement. So Damien Burke played what?
Hey, Rennie. He was in the... He was part of the cavalry, wasn't he? The American cavalry.
The dog?
The dog was, Rennie. And he had a boy master.
That's right. Can you remember his name?
Oh, Billy. I don't know. Oh, geez, that's tell you. Hop Harrigan. Do you remember that one? Biggles? Oh, geez, we're going back a bit.
Tank Tinker.
Tank.
Control to CX4. Control to CX4. This is Hop Harrigan. Come in. CX4 to control. CX4 to control. You're clear to land. Come in. Stay tuned for the fascinating adventures of Hop Harrigan. Right. Now, Don,
Biggles was...
Biggles.
Who was Ginger? He was the sidekick of
Tank,
somebody.
Tinker and Ginger. He was the mechanic, the aviator mechanic. Don, Damien Burke, who played football for Geelong.
And Brisbane.
Yes, Don, and Brisbane. I was speaking to him. This is a little known fact. I didn't know this. Did you know he attempted to ascend?
I thought you were going to say suicide.
I want to get on to suicide, men's suicide. There is a tremendous number of
get back
people,
to Damien.
Men, males, committing suicide, and we should get someone on.
That's why they put that cage up over the Westgate Bridge. You know that big thing over the Westgate Bridge that stopped people jumping? The fence. Yeah. To stop them. There are a lot of people jumped off there and they don't talk about it.
They put that up after the bloke threw his baby over it.
Yeah, but listen, I know people who jumped over there.
Damien, you know people?
Yes.
Don, Damien Burke, he tried to ascend the summit of Everest.
Really?
He went up to base camp.
He couldn't hack it. He hasn't got the body for it. He's a redhead.
He climbed up as far as he could.
I told you. Only got so far, didn't he?
Yeah. Would you like to know why? Because
his body broke down.
The person he was climbing with died. Oh. And they then spent all their efforts trying to get the person who died down. So the window of opportunity, I hope I'm not misrepresenting that, but I said to him, why didn't you go on? He said, because the person who And I said, what a fascinating chat you would be, Damien.
Yeah.
So I'm going to see if he'll come in and speak about...
Is he living in Geelong?
He's living down the coast.
Where at?
Just down the coast, past Geelong.
Well, there's Lawn, there's
That's
Anglesea,
right.
there's
Would you like his
Fairhaven,
address and phone number?
Bells
maybe I could
Beach,
give his
there's
address
Queens
and
Cliff,
phone number.
Torquay,
Apollo
your
Bay.
old hometown, Torquay. No.
Maybe I could
Point
give his
Lonsdale.
address and phone number out, and people could go down and knock
Yeah,
on his door and
ask him
interrupt
about
him
his
and his
body.
missus and his kids and just chat about Everest.
Yeah.
Don, I'm not giving out where he lives.
He had a brother, Tim.
Oh, I probably did. So that's Damien Burke and Ross Lyon. And now here's something. Do you remember, not do you remember, do you remember? If you, I mentioned about people who cut V's out of trees to allow the power lines to go through.
Oh, yeah.
I drove down a street yesterday, a magnificent street with trees, all with the V's cut out of them so the power line... What people would decimate a beautiful avenue or boulevard by cutting the V out of trees? And you'll say, oh, well, what's the alternative? The alternative is to spend all the money they raise from parking infringements and speeding, and the councils do, from fining people for every single thing, put them down under the ground or reroute them instead of cutting the shit out of the middle of the trees. That's the first thing. The second thing, Don, if you drive, this is if you are listening to this around the world, Alexandra Avenue is a street or a boulevard that goes alongside the Yarra River past the Botanical Gardens. And there are several pedestrian crossings that go from the Tan, which is a running track, over to the river.
And they're elevated. They're speed hump, aren't they?
No, they're not, Don. So if you drive along there, the speed limit's 40, which I was doing yesterday. I was doing about 30, I reckon. And because the pedestrian crossings are camouflaged or hidden because of shrubs, you can never see anyone step onto the pedestrian crossing until you are actually almost on it. And what people do these days is they think they have the God-given right to step onto pedestrian crossings and that you will have to stop, which you are meant to. But if you don't see the people, it's pretty hard to see them because half of them walk across on the phone, half of them have got their head up their arse, and they just step onto the pedestrian crossing thinking that they have the right of way, which they do if you see them. I nearly ran someone over yesterday, minding my own business, concentrating, who just walked straight out quickly.
Did they have their head up their arse?
They did.
They did?
They did.
Jeez, that would have looked...
Because,
really?
Don.
They had their head up their arse as
they
they
were
walked
walking
across the road.
in a stooped position.
I would have pulled up just looking at it.
They were
I would have
walking
been
in a stooped position
Were
because they had
they?
their head up their arse.
Fair.
And they walked briskly out on... And if I hadn't been alert, I would have run them over. And you could
What were you
not...
driving? What were you driving?
What does that
Mustang?
matter?
Well, it does. If it's left-hand drive, you would have had to look across the body. If you were right-hand drive, you would have seen them. So you were at fault too, driving that Mustang with the left-hand drive.
What you're saying, I can't see over the windscreen? You think
Yeah,
I'm a
well,
dwarf?
the bonnet, you know, it's obstruct. They're probably coming from your right. You're on the left, so you've got to look across the bonnet.
What the fuck? You're just making shit up, Don. You don't even know what you're talking about. I'm saying people step onto
Well, I
pedestrian
want to know the car.
crossings.
You've got these cars out the back there, all left-hand drive.
People step onto pedestrian crossings thinking, oh, yeah, because we have the right of way, we'll just step onto them. I'm telling you, someone will get killed doing that from people minding their own business and they just... You have a kid run onto a pedestrian crossing. If you can't see him because the shrub is taller than him, that is a very dangerous situation. And then a man called Dean Randall, I don't know if he wanted me to mention his name, but I am Dean, said, why don't we as a community make a concerted effort to stop graffiti being daubed all over freeways and sound battens and defacing? Why don't we make a concerted effort with law enforcement or squads of surveillance techniques to actually stamp out these pieces of bacteria, these ill-bred, inbred pieces of bacteria
No argument.
who deface the whole of our country just
No
because
argument.
they get kicks out of it.
No argument.
So I'm not sure how...
How do they... I was fascinated. I drove up in Peninsula Link. They've got bridges across Peninsula Link. How do they get up there? They must do it at night, obviously. But how do they do they hang over or...
I think they've got poles with
Poles.
a trigger on it. Yeah,
but
you
the
put
riding
can-
is the right way. So when you are
very
driving,
ingenious.
you know, it's they've got to ride it upside down, in other words.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was fascinated by that because
wouldn't
they've
help if you're
defaced a
dyslexic.
couple of these overpasses or bridges on Peninsula Link, and I just wondered how they did it.
Here's
Now, also, remember we had Michelle
building...
Topsue on our program? I was flicking through YouTube last night, and she's done a song, I Touch Myself. It's a cover.
Is
It's
that a
a
Madonna song?
No, it wasn't that Chrissy Amphlett? Was it?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Was it Chrissy Amphlett?
I'm taking this call because this is our guest who can't find the building. So I'm going to chat off air, so you go ahead. Chrissy Amphlett did sing, and I interviewed Chris Amphlett about that song.
She's from Geelong.
Mandy?
Oh, God.
I
This is
said I'm
now. If
taking-
anybody
I
else,
said I was
would
I
do
said,
this
Don,
in the middle of a segment,
Did you not hear me? I
geez,
said...
there's laws for one and laws for others.
Jesus, you're a
Hang
cock.
on, the guest is not going to
Did
come in
you
now.
not hear me say I'm taking this call?
and
Could
we've
you
got to fill.
continue? Oh, well, keep...
Yeah, we've got to fill.
Jeez, Mandy.
I said to Don, I've got to take this call. And he said, oh, you're on the phone. Mandy, where are you?
This will be good. This will be really good. He's going to direct her into the
Oh, God,
studio.
Here we go.
Is that it at the front? Is it grey?
Oh, can you believe this? In the middle, we could have.
We should be videotaping this.
Jeez. He's got his braces on today. Have a
Oh,
look.
yeah, yep.
He's got shorts on. What has he got? He's
And a
talking
jacket.
about my dress. He looks like an old Darrow. All he needs is a brown neck bottle, beer.
See, look.
God,
In here, in this thing here. Now, turn left.
can you believe this? It's a VW.
This is great radio.
Hey, Don, when I said I've got to take this call because our guest can't find us, I said, could you carry on? I said, hello, Mandy, and he said, oh, you're on the phone.
Anyway, I'm talking about Michelle. She can sing.
Who?
Can she?
Michelle
Topsue.
Braid Topsue. Braid
Is that the
must
girl
be,
that was in here
yes,
with
Brooksy.
Brooksy? They're not an item, are they?
Oh, I don't know.
No, good.
I think, and also
isn't
I
she
told you
his
about
carer?
what.
Isn't
No,
she
the
his
door,
carer?
Ivan, please.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's open.
And also, I was telling you about the condition of Peninsula Link or Peninsula roads, how bad they are. Geez, I nearly had an accident the other day. The ruts are directly in. Come and sit down.
I've told her to sit down, Don. She knows to sit
No,
down.
she's not. She's waving her
I
hand.
told her to sit down. Shut up, Don.
Anyway, I went and got my car repaired, $1,000 bloody dollars. Do you reckon I've got a case to go and sue somebody for the state of the roads? Did the shockers, the ball joints, and also the cushion, the rubber bushes and
Grommets.
at the back.
You should have a case.
$970.
Who would you send it to?
Well, that's what I'm asking. Have I got a case to either the local council or Victorian government or something
Wait,
for the
take him to
state of the
VCAT.
roads?
Take him to VCAT.
Joe
Waste
Molino.
your time doing that.
He's going to be the next. Well, I don't know. He shouldn't be the
Now,
next.
Don,
He's an imposter.
I was on 3AW, which is a radio station here in Melbourne, with Darren James, and the reason I'm telling you this
He
is
went to
that
Blackburn High School.
right, I'm not telling you for
He's
that
an
reason.
I've got
And-
something in common with him.
And the reason I was on 3AW, because I was on there for an hour, and he got on the Mayor of Port Phillip. The Mayor of Port Phillip to chat about why the Spirit of Tasmania, which is the ferry, is now in its last days of docking at...
It's gone now. It's
Station
finished.
Pier, it's gone.
It's down at Geelong. It's finished.
I was speaking to him last week about the last
Well,
days.
paint the picture.
Set
Get
the
your
scene.
correct.
I said I was speaking to him on the radio. Darren was. That's why he was on the radio about the last days of the Spirit of Tasmania. This was last week, and I know it's stopped now because he was on because that was the last day. And anyhow, I said to him, I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, I don't want to ambush you, but are you responsible for the woman lying on the footpath on Beaconsfield Parade? And there was a bit of a silence, and he said, yes. He said, we're trying to relocate that woman. I said, it's been 18 months she's been there.
Or longer.
And
Longer.
all right. And he said, well, there's a lot of homeless people in Ackland Street. I said,
No, it's not. You keep going.
There's a lot of homeless people camping in Ackland. I said, mate, we feel for the homeless people. And Ivan said there's hundreds of them under the under the bridge near the aquarium. We feel for all those people. But just if I could say, Mr. Mayor, it is a disgrace that you allow anyone, this is not against the woman, anyone to set up a house, a little house she has set up.
Oh, it's not, no, it's just a bloody bed with a bedding.
There's more of it now. Now
What?
there's another...
I went past her today. She was asleep in the rain.
Well, sometimes she has another tarpaulin
does
out
she?
where people sit. And anyhow, and when I mentioned it on the radio, when I got off, I had a lot of texts from people who said, oh, mate, don't worry about her. She is rude.
Yes, she
is abusive.
Yes, she
There's
is.
people stumble over her.
Yes, right.
Bike riders have to go
That's
around
right.
her. There's litter.
Yes.
She'll
She'll ask you to go and buy cigarettes for her.
Yes.
I said, Mr.
Yes,
Mayor,
true.
Mr. Mayor, would it be possible to get someone to move that person off
I
our
don't think they
main
can.
boulevard?
She's like a possum. You've got to take possums miles away from where you catch them because they will come back to you.
a ring-tailed possum?
Well, it doesn't matter. It could be a bushy tail.
Don. Possum shit. Now, Don.
No, she's got the convenience right there, so it's not a case of
Do
possum.
you notice, Don, as you go past, it might be raining, but her bedding is...
Pristine?
Yes.
Yes,
Very
people,
white.
and
That's
this
all
is
the
what
bedding
people are
companies-
encouraging her by bringing food and cleaning her bedding.
I
Her
cannot-
bedding is pristine.
I
Amazing.
cannot understand, Don and Ivan, why the people who live across the road who've
They-
paid millions of
But
dollars...
they've rung up. My friend lives across the road from her, and he's rung the council, and they said we can't do anything about it.
Of course they can.
He has actually. I won't mention his name, but he lives directly across from her.
So
he said
I
she
said-
is very, very rude. Asked for money for cigarettes.
I said to the mayor, Mr. Mayor, he said it's very hard. We're trying to get rid of her. I said 18 months. I said, Mr. Mayor, the problem is that there's a precedence being set. If 50 people wanted to do that, we would have a homeless community of bloody vagrants living on our most prestigious boulevard. Not much to hang our hat on, but it's all we've got.
Did you talk to him with your hands stretched like this, like his lordship on the cross?
Our guest, our guest
cannot
is,
be serious.
we'll lose our guest shortly, Don, if she thinks you've got an IQ not more than your shoe size. So anyhow, they're the things that have ticked me off. Alexander Avenue, the graffiti.
No, well, hang on. You haven't told me what has the mayor said. Is he going to do anything about
The
it?
mayor says we're working.
He's going to reach out.
He's going to
the
reach
Oh,
out.
reach out. They all reach out.
I know. I said
He's not going to do anything, is he?
I've got a feeling they are not.
God, they're
And
hopeless.
why people don't get this is when you should have a petition and and have a protest. It should have 100 people go down there and stand with petitions saying this is not acceptable. And
No,
actually
we'll get
make
all
sure
the woke people coming out saying we're victimising her.
They'll start a GoFundMe page for her.
Yeah.
Well, that
She asked her mother for money.
Well, why don't they?
She was overheard the other day. No, this is a little while ago. Borrowed someone's phone. Asked her money for
Why
money.
don't
That's
they-
not good. She said, I'll put $200. I want more than $200
Why don't
in
they
my
start
account.
a GoFundMe? The woke could start a GoFundMe page so that they could get her an apartment or some accommodation off the boulevard. That's my point. It's not.
She's like a possum. She'll come back.
No, not if she's not allowed to by law. And
That
so-
doesn't stop possums.
And here's a thing to be wary of, just before we wind this up, Don. This is for I wind it up. You might have other topics. You've had none so far. Except Rhodes, Hawthorn and Bonio show jumping.
Good.
Yeah. Here's a thing to be wary of. If you are park your car, be very sure that the parking inspectors don't just linger around your car and book you either 30 seconds or a minute before your time expires.
You've had experience recently?
I haven't, but I've had a couple of people said, I got back to my car and luckily they took a photograph of the meter and the bloke had written a ticket out. It was a bloke, I think. It wasn't a woman.
How do you know?
And it's good. How do I know? It was a person, non-binary, non-gender. I don't know who it was, but they were a traffic inspector, a park inspector. And this woman said, you have booked me and I've got 30 seconds left on my, because she showed on the time. And he said, yes, you're quite right. He said, I'm sorry, I can't give you a refund, but you're going to have to get in touch.
I know.
You're going to have to get in touch with the council.
What a load of shit.
Have
you ever done that, written a letter to them?
They will refund your money,
bullshit.
but you have to go to the exercise and the inconvenience.
Right.
And so be very careful of park inspectors booking you before they should. So there are the four things that have ticked me off. Parking inspectors, the woman on Beaconsfield Parade, graffiti, Alexandra Avenue, and we've done all that. And
just two other things.
Go ahead.
This bloody rail loop that Albanese's apparently given money to Daniel Andrews. There is a problem here, a practical problem, and I'll just relate it. People in the eastern suburbs do not go down to Brighton and whatever else. It's just the way you've been. Oh, well, there's some people, if you got blonde hair, you go from Box Hill down to Brighton. But a lot of people don't.
Go on. I'm just showing our guest Gwyneth Paltrow's candle. And she said her eyes stuck out like organ stops. She looked at it and said...
Well, we might be able to ask her.
No, we won't ask her about it. We won't be asking her anything about that. Go on. Are you finished?
No.
Well, get on with it.
Why is Andrews so persistent with this fucking bloody tunnel? It's going to cost millions, take years
Billions.
to do. What?
Billions.
When we've got Australia, because we've already got a system of rail going in, you go to Richmond and get off and go down the other way. The other thing is Andrews is going to set up the SEC. Do you remember the SEC?
Yep.
Jeffrey Kennett got rid of it.
Full of bloody disgruntled bloody pommies who were union leaders back in the 80s, going on strike all the time. Yeah. I'm against Kennett selling the instrumentalities in the first place.
Bloody pommies, Don.
They were. Did you ever
possibly say that today?
What?
Just workers.
They were disgruntled. That's why they left England.
Yes.
Came over and worked at the SEC, became union leaders, and then we were on strike and held to ransom by these disgruntled pommies. Well, what's wrong with that?
Nothing.
It's a fact.
Any disgruntled people from any other country over here?
No, they were full of bloody poms.
Right, well done, Don. Do you know why they're called poms? Do you know why? This is serious.
It would be short for something.
Do you know why they...
No, go on, tell me.
Because they came out here and they were pale from, that's their complexion, and they said they looked like pomegranates.
Pomegranate. That's a little orange, isn't it? Pomegranate.
Pomegranates is a big white fruit.
No, I don't think it is.
All right. Well, I think that's what it was. Incidentally, Thomas Crapper. No, I'm not. Thomas Crapper. I'm just. His birthday was on the 29th of September. He was born in 1886, and he when you say you're going to have a crap, people said it was after Thomas Crapper, but it wasn't after Thomas Crapper. It was after a French name and a Iranian name, Crapé, which means to evacuate, and Crapeur or something, and it's not Thomas Crapper. You don't go and have a crap because of Thomas Crapper, who invented the flushing toilet, and he has been maligned. You don't go and have a crap in honour of Mr. Crapper. It was completely made up of a different name.
How did we get it?
I'm wondering if our guest is ready to leave already.
Right. So that's it. That's Mr. Crapper has been maligned unceremoniously and gratuitously. You don't go and
Pity
have
you
a
didn't
crap.
work over in Singapore. Have you ever been to the toilets in Singapore?
Well, you did this last week.
Oh,
Don,
did we?
Where you squat over a hole. We do. Your memory, man. You're.
I think I've got a case.
Fact,
do you think I could go the AFL?
I tell you what.
I think it comes back to the
very
time you used to
person
hit
we're
me.
about to wind this up and chat to next is
What?
right down your alley because
Why?
this is what this person majors in. This is her forte.
Memory loss.
It's stupidity.